Doing that. Okay, news day. Friday for you. Not for me. I want to thank Phil. He invited us out to dinner last night, a subscriber of mine. And he bought a home. He's invited us along. I haven't shot any of the video yet, but I'm going to. In a couple places. One is, he is staying at Alden Bungalows, which I know a lot of you that come down here for lifestyle visits, you stay at Alden Bungalows. And I've done a drive-through of the Alden Bungalows area, which is basically straight across the street from Wildwood. It's a nice area. I haven't posted that video yet because I had so much that I wanted to post, and I just didn't think that was a priority. But I wanted to show you where the Alden Bungalows are, what the neighborhood looks like, so you'll see where you're going to stay during a lifestyle visit if you stay at the Alden Bungalows. Well, he's staying there, and he's invited me to come over there before he has to leave, where I can actually do a walkthrough in one of those bungalows for you guys. And I'm sure that you'd be interested in seeing that, especially if you come down for a lifestyle visit. Then at least you'll kind of get an idea what these are. They're not your cheap one bathroom hotel type rooms, which I've got a lot of emails. So I think people are concerned that these bungalows, I think it's probably the name bungalow, because in different regions of the world and the United States, words mean different things. A back porch is the same thing in Indiana, basically, as a lanai here. Just a balcony in some places is called something else in another place. So a bungalow, I'll do a walkthrough, and I think it'll make a lot of you that's coming down for a lifestyle visit a lot more relaxed to know where you're going to be staying. Also, he bought a pre-owned home in a gorgeous area. I don't know if I've ever really done, I have, I guess, a couple of them that were for sale, but I haven't really done a walkthrough. I'm going to do a before and after. He's invited me to do that. He's going to do a lot of upgrading, I'll put it, in the house. So I'm going to go in when he takes purchase of the house or ownership, which I think is like October the 8th. And I'm going to do a walkthrough and around the outside, kind of show you the area. It's a unique area. I won't say where. And after he gets down here, because he's still got some things to take care of up north. He's from Ohio. That I have been invited to come in and do an after shoot. After he gets things fixed and done, and I guess furniture moved in and all that, I'm going to do a before and after to show you what can be done in some of these houses, especially the pre-owned ones, to fix them up to suit yourself. So, with that being said, I want to thank Phil for, like I say, inviting Sue and I out to dinner last night. Oh, by the way, Phil, I opened up your wine today that you gave us. And I gotta tell you, I really like the red. It's very fruity. It has that slight sizzle to it. I don't know how to put it. A slight fizz, carbonation, I guess, or something to it. Very slight. But it's very good. I appreciate it. Very, very good. I like it. Probably not be able to get any of this down here. It's going to be one of them things I'm going to really like my coffee. And I'll be ordering it through Amazon or something, ship it down here. That's what happens a lot. Okay, the first thing out of the bag. The Villages Regional Hospital releases data in response to residents' recent criticism. Remember we talked about that last week about the hospital? I said, I've not had a problem there. Everything there for me has been good. I don't see some of the problems that people talk about. I'm not denying it. I don't know, but I do know that in the wintertime the hospital seems to be overwhelmed. That could be typical of every hospital down here. I don't know that either. I have a feeling that it is, because In the wintertime, especially with the baby boomers retiring, the whole state just swells with population. The Villages Regional Hospital, in response to a recent criticism from residents, has released data that is said to reflect improvements in patient care. Villager Don Hess wrote in a recent opinion piece about his stay at the hospital. That piece spurred numerous letters to the editor from residents describing their care at the Villages Regional Hospital. You have to excuse the light, and I'm watching the lighting over here, how it gets dark and then it kind of lightens up again. Very cloudy day today. On Tuesday, Central Florida Health released a statement in response to the criticism to organizations has received and its commitment to quality health care. The CFH is the parent company of both the Villages Regional Hospital and Leesburg Regional Medical Center. It's a lot of, a pat on the back is what it is. The guy with the rubber elbow. I'm trying to get down to the nitty gritty here. I don't care who the doctors are. I don't care who the administrator is. I just want to get down to the nitty gritty. Overall, CMS set a goal of reducing preventable hospital-acquired conditions by 20% from 2014 through 2019. Once the 20% reduction goal is met, AHRQ projects that from 2015 through 2019 there would be 1.8 million fewer patients with hospital-acquired conditions, resulting in 53,000 fewer deaths and saving $19.1 billion in hospital costs from 2015 through 2019. That's just a lot of rhetoric, ain't it? Hospital-acquired conditions. I don't know. Who determines that? Is there some kind of rule that the hospital sends out to all the doctors saying if they don't meet this qualification, then don't send them to my hospital because we don't consider that to be a hospital condition? Is that what they're saying? I don't know. I don't like rigmarole talk. I like straightforward talk where I know exactly what you're saying. The most up-to-date PSI 90 data is a tangible demonstration of the dedication of our nursing team members. From what I saw when I was there, nurses and the staff, and I don't want to say just nurses, the nurses and all the staff, whatever their names are, I don't know. They all treated me very well. I had no problems at all. Medical staff members and support departments to ensure that our patients receive safe care while at the Villages Regional Hospital, Henderson said. We consistently strive to meet or exceed national average guidelines for quality and safety. See, that's another government thing. I just don't trust that stuff. National quality guidelines. Listen, I was in the trucking industry, and the trucking industry has went to hell in a handbasket because of all these governmental people that don't even know how to start a truck, and they come up with all these national guidelines. And I'm not even sure where they got all these guidelines, because if you talk to a trucker out there, they'll tell you 101 things that's just screwed up. At the end of the day, it is imperative that we treat each and every patient as a member of our family, recognizing that our primary responsibility is to restore them back to health. Well, I've been in many, many hospitals in my lifetime. I don't say many, but a few. And I've always been treated very well. But the hospitals that I've stayed at for more than a day, where I've had to recover from surgery or something like that, I can tell you that in Anderson, Indiana, the community hospital, when I was there, was bad. And there were many doctors in Anderson that refused, if you requested to go to community back when you could do that, for any kind of an eye surgery or something like this, that sometimes you had to get another doctor that would go see you, because the doctor you were at may not even go out there. I had a doctor told me that. He said, if you want to go to community, that's your decision, but you'll have to get another doctor because I won't come out to community. St. John's Hospital in Anderson, even though it had its issues back then, treated me great. I had no problem at all. St. Vincent's treated me top notch, and that's just been a few years ago. And I've always said it. My wife will tell you, top notch. They were just super fantastic with everything. My biggest impression of St. Vincent's was when I went in and I wasn't feeling good at all. I go into the first thing I want to do is take you straight to the admitting office. When I sat in the chair, my wife was next to me. The lady admitting office, she said, I'm going to have whoever it is come and get you and take you straight into the emergency room. She said, because you don't look like you feel good at all. And she said, and I'm not going to keep you here. I'll get the information from your wife. I was out. And God bless him for that, because I did not feel good. And I didn't want to sit there and ask a bunch of questions. So, and I'm sure some of you know how that feels. So St. Vincent's treated me very well, and I've only been in a regional hospital once, and it was kind of like an outpatient thing for a stress test. And like I've said before, other than the lady at the information desk, I guess you call it, she seemed a little snippy. I think she was just having a bad day. But as far as everybody else goes, from the nurse to the whatever the guy was, the physician's assistant, to the doctor himself, everybody there, they treated me just fine. They treated me, they all seem to be happy in their work. So I don't really have a complaint. But anyway, that's the news about that. There has been a lot of criticism about that hospital. Extreme heat being blamed for fish kill. Well, I've read that before. Health inspector shuts down a Cala restaurant. I read that before. New Jersey woman in rental car arrested after U-turn over median on County Road 466. Driving under, she got caught drinking and driving. Pretty common around here every day anymore. Let me see what else I got here. Rift evident between villages and Fruitland Park as crowd questions city tax rates. That's been going on for a couple of weeks now. I'm not sure what the deal is over there, what's got them all in an uproar, because the villages of Pine Hills, Pine Ridge, and maybe parts of LaBelle North and LaBelle South maybe, or maybe all of it. Anyway, that's all Lake County. So they come under Lake County tax. Where I'm at is Sumter County. Just so some of you know that doesn't know much about the villages or haven't been here but you're interested. The villages covers 3 separate counties. Lake County, Marion County, and Sumter County. They all have different tax rates. They said a long time ago that when they started building Pine Ridge and Pine Hills over there, that the tax rate over there would be a little higher than Sumter County. I don't know. I just know that since the taxes have started to pop out, that there's been a lot of riff over it. And I'm sure that with all the new houses over there, they got a big hike in their income from the taxes. And so they're probably trying to do some improvements that's needed to be done for years, but they really never had it in their budget. Now they have it in their budget. And I know one of the things in their budget is building that new library. And I'm sure the people over there are saying, we don't need a library. We don't want to pay for a library. Well, it is what it is. An 81-year-old villager who has been arrested multiple times in defiance of trespass orders is making accusations of discrimination at the tennis courts at Tierra del Sol Recreation Center, claiming a Recreation Department employee has cursed at him and made rude comments. I don't believe that at all. Nope, I don't believe that at all. I don't know who the guy is, but it might be that same guy that keeps getting arrested because he's trespassed on everything in the villages. And he's also been trespassed, if this is the same guy, at all governmental offices in, I believe, it's either Lady Lake or Fruitland Park. I think it's Lady Lake. Now, I don't know what kind of a dick this guy is, but think about that. He can't go to the town squares, any rec center, any swimming pool, anything inside the villages that's part of our amenities and whatever. He can't go to it. And the town squares is owned by, I believe that all the squares are owned by the developer. The town itself is not, but the town squares is. So he can trespass you from that town square. And this guy's been trespassed, but he keeps getting caught. He keeps getting arrested. Wife of gubernatorial hopeful DeSantis meets with Republican women in the villages. Driver extricated from wreckage after semi overturns on Marion County roadway. A lot of this news is the same news you get in any town USA, really. Well, here we are with the bad parking. Plenty of examples of bad parking during summer work without snowbirds. Oh, I like this one here. Believe this or not, that was me. I didn't take this picture, but I was there when this happened. And I couldn't believe it either. I went outside and kept looking at it going, look at this idiot. Look at this dumb shit. Right here. Anyway. Here's one. See that white line? That golf cart parked in front of that white car, and that whole area right there is the white car's parking spot. Now you can make up all the accusations you want saying that car don't need that whole spot. As a motorcycle rider, I had a lot of people that would pass me on the interstate and be halfway in my lane, and they said the same thing, that I didn't need that whole lane on a motorcycle. I don't know where you get your logic. And a car parked in a crosswalk in front of Winn-Dixie. That one there's kind of a minor thing. There's a car parked in front of Wendy's on 27 and 441, and the car is parked in the middle of the drive-through area. Nobody's in the car. They just parked in the middle of the drive-through area and just left their car there. You see a lot of this everywhere you go. See that car and how he's parked over that white line? Come on, focus. Camera focuses on my face, I think. Let me touch this screen. There you go. See that? You'll see a lot of that here. I don't know why. They just do. There's another one. Darn it. See how he's parked catty corner across that whole spot there? He's really not nobody's way, I guess, as long as you got a handicap sticker, but you know, it just looks kind of goofy. Here's one. See that car in the middle? That's not a parking spot. That red car, whatever it is, that's a striped area for a van that has a lift gate that has to pop out. That's what that striped area is for. But apparently people down here has never taken the same driver's test that I took, saying you're not allowed to park in any striped area. But it is what it is. Here's one. See that red car parked in there in front of the UPS store? Now, I know you're probably going to think, well, what's wrong with that? Well, what's wrong with that is, if you can see it, that whole area right there is for golf parking only. That's all golf cart parking in there, golf cart parking. There's no way for a car to get in there, but this guy somehow, some way stuck his car in there, and you know, for whatever the reason was. And most of these are, like I say, pretty typical. You've seen them before. I'm going to try to find that one that I was there when it happened. This one right here. Matter of fact, I think that's my golf cart right there. Yeah. That's in front of Cody's at Brownwood. See if you go over two golf carts to the, I think your right or maybe my left. You see that red golf cart sitting there? That's me. I came out So I didn't take his picture, by the way, but see that car sitting there? I couldn't believe that. I went down the end of the street and was looking. Half his car is sticking out in the lane of where people drive. I don't know where people get their ideas. I swear I don't. They just think they can willy-nilly do what they want. Goofy, goofy, goofy. Oh well. Let's see what else we can find. Get past that. CDD supervisor calling for discussion of deteriorating pavement of some villa roads. Funeral services set for tattoo artist as man charged in his death walks out of jail. Woman sentenced to prison time after golf cart DUI arrest in village of Buttonwood. Let me see what this says. That don't seem right, does it? Going to jail for a DUI? Must be like her 13th time or something. A woman has been sentenced to prison time after a golf cart drunk driving arrest earlier this year in the village of Buttonwood. Michelle Barbara Armstrong, 47, was sentenced this past week to Sumter County Court to 2 years and 4 months with the Florida Department of Corrections. Upon her release, she will be on drug offender probation for 32 months. Wow. She has multiple previous DUI convictions. Yeah, that's what I thought. On street legal, points some California. Traffic stop was initiated at St. Charles Place and Buttonwood Road. A golf cart. Armstrong lit a cigarette and began smoking. Despite the smoke, the deputy detected a smell of alcohol. She stumbled out of the golf cart and struggled through field sobriety exercises. In the glove compartment of the golf cart, the deputy found 2 empty alcohol containers, one being a Fireball and the other an Espresso 99% liquor, whatever that is. Armstrong refused to provide breath samples. Well, I'm sorry, but if you've been arrested multiple times, it just tells me you ain't learnt nothing. Let's go on. Leesburg commissioners hold steady on millage rate. Adopt $168 million budget. I think that's what they're arguing about. $1 million budget for the coming fiscal year and setting the millage rate at $4.26.8 per 1,000 of taxable property value. It says that's the same as this past year. Leesburg okays purchase of life-saving extrication equipment for new fire engine. Village of Country Club Hills man jailed on drug charges for second time in a year. A Village of Country Club Hills man has been jailed on drug charges for the second time in a year. Ron Stewart Ludou, L-E-D-O-U-X, 24, has been traveling in a blue pickup truck at about 2:33 p.m. Friday eastbound on County Road 466A, west of Buena Vista Boulevard, when Sumter County Sheriff's deputy noticed he wasn't wearing a seat belt. I didn't realize I didn't have it on, he said. He provided the deputy with his driver's license and a truck's registration, but did not have proof of insurance. A K-9 unit arrived on the scene and the dogs alerted on the pickup truck. Marijuana was discovered inside the vehicle, along with a glass pipe that tested positive for a residue of marijuana. The Virginia native was arrested on charges of possession of marijuana and possession of drug equipment. He was cited for having no proof of insurance and issued a warning for the seatbelt violation. He was booked at Sumter County Detention Center and released after posting a $1,000 bond. KC and the Sunshine Band, ready to take villagers on a musical journey. KC and the Sunshine Band have scheduled a show in the villages at the Sharon L. Morse Performing Arts Center. Market night coming to Brownwood Paddock Square. All right. We haven't had that. This is new. They've had it at Spanish Springs, and then they have it down at Lake Sumter, but we've never had a market night here. Village's entertainment department has announced that Market Night will be coming to Brownwood Paddock Square. A new weekly schedule for Market Night will be as follows. Tuesdays, Spanish Springs Town Square. Wednesdays, Lake Sumter Landing Market Square. And Thursdays, Brownwood Paddock Square. Market Night gives residents and their guests opportunities to interact with a variety of vendors while enjoying entertainment at the town squares in the villages. That'd be nice. Market Night's always nice. It brings out a lot of people too. Villager's son puts up a battle when parents try to take away Xanax. There he is. Mommy and Daddy's little love child. Villager's couple's 33-year-old son put up a fight when his parents tried to take Xanax away from him Tuesday night at their home in the village of Osceola Hills at Lake Deaton. Sumter County Sheriff's deputies responded at 6:30 p.m. to a home in the 600 block of Twinkle Circle where they found Jeffrey Ryan Dedinsky out on the home's lanai, which was in complete disarray. There was a white froth substance around Dedinsky's mouth which appeared to be chewed up prescription medication, according to the arrest report. Dedinsky's father said he had attempted to take a bottle of Xanax from his son because he knew he did not have a prescription for it. The father hid the Xanax in the kitchen, but Dedinsky, who stands 6'5" tall and weighs 295 pounds, began to frantic search for the drugs, breaking household items in the process. The arrest report said when Dedinsky's mother attempted to call law enforcement, he took her cell phone from her and threw it across the room. Well, there's another charge. You can't do that, at least not in Florida. Dedinsky was taken into custody on a third-degree felony charge of drug possession and a charge of depriving 911 communication. He was booked at Sumter County Detention Center on a $5,000 bond. Well, Mommy and Daddy, make sure you run up to the detention center and bail your little Johnny out. You know, he's always been such a good little boy. He had probably didn't bother none of the neighbors, all the yelling and screaming and disruption over there with a drug addict kid. I'm sure the neighbors doesn't mind that at all. Leesburg officials accuse villages of cherry-picking land as number of homes cut to 3,000. I read a little bit about that. I don't really understand what it is. I know, remember I told you Leesburg had some land that was set aside for an industrial park, and they couldn't get the industrial park thing going. And so they approached the developer of the villages and see if he had any interest in buying the property. And he did, and I think he bought it. And originally the plan was, I guess, and I don't think that plan was set in stone. I think originally, though, the plan was he was going to put somewhere between 4,000 and 5,000 homes up in that area once it was developed. And now it sounds like that has changed to 3,000 homes. If you go back many videos, I've said this before, these numbers change. It could start out at 3, and when they get done, it could end up being 5. Well, in this case, it started out between 4 and 5, I think, and now it's backed up to 3. I'm sure the developer's got his reasons for it. I don't really know what they are, but Leesburg sounds like they're getting a little miffed about it, probably because they're not going to get the taxes that they once was hoping for. But, what can I say? I mean, that's he's the developer. He's the one that's got the money. I'll read you a little bit about that story. It's probably not going to be nothing interesting, really. Leesburg officials have accused the villages of cherry-picking a land deal as the number of planned homes has been cut to 3,000 units. The villages and the city currently are going through the due diligence process on a 1,127-acre parcel, the Villages of Westlake, that's what it'll be called, located north of County Road 470 and east of the Florida Turnpike. The villages originally wanted to purchase an additional 531 acres south of County Road 470, but City Manager Al Minner said that area needs to be retained as a spray field until the villages is ready to accept 6 million gallons per day of reused water on a yearly basis. Currently, the community can only take the reused water 9 months of the year, excluding its peak snowbird season. In a planning Commission meeting on Thursday, Minner revealed that the village's portion of Leesburg, once envisioned to include 4,000 to 5,000 homes, is now down to 3,000 units. The Planning Commission debated the village's plan to jettison some of the property that had been planned for purchase. They don't want the swampland, said Planning Commissioner Ted Bowersox. During the lengthy meeting, Planning Commissioners eventually voted to approve a comprehensive plan amendment changing the future land use on about 11 acres of the village's purchase to age-restricted development from industrial and technology commerce park. And they agreed with a request to rezone those acres to age-restricted development from city planned unit development as well. Got a little map on here I was going to show you, but really can't make much out of it. Anyway, they're just getting a little miffed. They'll work it out. They always do. It always boils down to who's getting the money. How much are we going to get? That's what boils. How much are we going to get? Man booted from Fruitland Park Commission meeting after outburst against mayor. See, they're still arguing over there. Every time they have a meeting over there, this taxes and where it's going, and people's got a right to know. I mean, I'm not saying that, but they, out of a group of people, there's always a handful that I don't know, man. They just ain't right. Fruitland Park Commissioners reduced the city's millage rate and approved a $10.9 million budget Thursday night, but not before fireworks erupted over the city's new library, and a man was escorted out of the meeting by a police officer. But first, commissioners offered words of encouragement and prayers for one of their own after it was announced that Commissioner Ray Lewis had suffered a heart attack. As for the business at hand, for the second week in a row, the commission met at the Community Methodist Church about a block from City Hall. Remember before they didn't let everybody in the normal room because it wasn't big enough? Well, now they're taking them over to the church and having them there because it's got plenty of room for everybody. To accommodate the large crowd of vocal villagers who attend them. They came from the villages of Pine Ridge and Pine Hills, armed with questions about everything from how much they pay in taxes to health insurance costs for city employees to how many police officers are on patrol to plans for future growth. But by far the hottest topic of the night was the cost associated with the new library, which was estimated to be about 85% completed and is scheduled to open sometime after Thanksgiving. It goes on and on and on, talking about this girl said that guy said this. One of the topics Cheshire highlighted was the library. He showed a slide that put the total cost of the building at $2.87 million, which City Treasurer Jenny Racine said is only $19,250 over budget, an amount that will be paid through capital money generated by sales tax. But villager Patty Drake disputed those numbers and raised questions about how grant money was being used, and she then took aim at the overall cost of the building. The spending on the library is definitely out of control, she said, adding that she believes the true costs are in the $3 million range. Drake's comments eventually surpassed 3 minutes, so Shasheen stopped her. They're allowed 3 minutes to say what they got to say, and then they got to sit down. The audience erupted in a round of boos. At one point, a man in the audience yelled Hitler at Cheshire, who was Jewish. Not good, man. When you get into personal attacks and things like that, as far as I'm concerned, he did right by throwing your ass out. You just don't do that. And if you were raised that way, then I'm sorry for you. After City Attorney Anita Guressi Carver explained how Fruitland Park is in compliance with the rules governing grants and how the architect is intimately involved in the entire building process, Drake interrupted her to claim that the architect had been fired. Something she said she had been told the week before. Nobody said the architect's been fired, Shasheen said. See, now we're getting into this like I keep talking about, something that she had been told before. Somebody that knew somebody told her the architect's been fired. She don't know. The ramblings of an insane person. City Manager Gary Lavenia took it one step further by saying the architect attends every meeting concerning the progress of the library and oversees all facets of the building construction. But Drake insisted she had been told the architect had been terminated. It was said at the last meeting, she said. Otherwise, why would I think that? Shashreen suggested that Drake sit down with Lavenia, Racine, and Garcia Carver to go over the library project for clarification. It always seems like when you're talking about compliance and use of funds, you always avoid the question, she continued. They're always an excuse, and when you're in charge of a large amount of money, there should be accountability. I'm not disagreeing with that. It just sounds like, you know, she's heated. He's trying to talk reason, and I'm not saying he's being 100% truthful about anything. I'm just saying, according to this I'm reading here, he's trying to talk somewhat reason. She's pissed, and she's not willing to listen to reason, because this is what I said, that I heard this guy was fired, and I know he's been fired because I heard somebody told me that. You know, you got to stop. He's offering to go over the numbers with you, so you get a full transparency, and you're still arguing, Shashreen said. He will go over the numbers with you. They will open the books. After Drake finally agreed to meet with Lavenia, Shashire addressed the earlier outburst. I don't mind if you boo me, but if one more person calls me Hitler, I will have you removed. I asked for a decorum. That is horrible, absolutely horrible, and I will not stand for it, and I don't blame you for that. That's not right. With that, a man in the back of the audience started loudly questioning why Drake wasn't allowed to continue speaking. Shashreen asked police officer to escort the man from the meeting, and he continued addressing the mayor. You don't have to remove me, he said while walking out the door with the officer behind him. I can get out of this hole myself. You know, sometimes I'm just ashamed of some of these retired people. I just am. You can speak your mind. I got no problem with that. But personal attacks is downright deplorable. It really is. Anyway, that is the news for the week. We are done. I've heard enough of it. I get this thing set up. Once again, I'll get them videos with Phil, the before and after, the Alden bungalow. I'll get that done probably Friday of this week. I got to call him. And with that, on this kind of cloudy day, a little breezy, feels pretty good. Probably about, I don't know, I'm going to say 88 degrees out, maybe 90. I'm not sure. Let me see here. Can you see? Come on. 7. Showing a cloud with a little bit of rain. Ain't raining yet, but it is a little cloudy out there. But it feels pretty good. Well, I drink my wine. I'm going to say, I'll see you guys on the other side.